Welcome back to Prep Recruiting Insider, PRI, here at NOLA Motorsports Park in Avondale. I'm your coach for PRI, Rick Gailey, along with our Prep Recruiting Insider and yours, Mr. Renee Nadeau. And we are so excited today to have the head football coach of the Southeastern Louisiana University Lions, Coach Ron Roberts, with us today on Prep Recruiting Insider. Coach Roberts, thank you for taking the time to come all the way from Hammond over here to Avondale and spend some time with us.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Any opportunity to get in New Orleans, especially to talk to these high school kids and see us and expose our program, it's a great opportunity for us.
Ron, you're always with us every year, and you know we look forward to having you on at this time of year. You know that the players are knowledgeable of this show. They're on this show. What message would you have for a recruit for 2016-17? What kind of players are you looking for the Lions?
Yeah, you know, the most important thing, obviously, that stumps most of them is grades. You got to take care of your business in the classroom. And, you know, again, you got to do the best job you can for your high school football team. I think the best thing they can always do, we're looking for winners, guys that win championships, that elevate their team. So the best thing you can do to really make yourself marketable is help your team win a championship, and that will market yourself a lot better than just your own personal skills.
And you've coached at all levels, at high school and in smaller colleges, and now at Southeastern. So you know the nuts and bolts of the business, so to speak, and you had an enviable record as well. Not only in recruiting high school players, but also in recruiting community college and junior college players. And you have a unique perspective on that because you grew up in California and coached in California as well. Give us some insight into the California community college system, because people here in this area don't know as much, certainly as you are. When I was at Tulane, we recruited them very heavily as well.
Yeah, it's a little different element out there. Is that, you know, there's 76 schools that play, so there's actually an enormous amount of junior college football players out there. So it's a lot easier to find that diamond in the rough. Two, out there, it's really, for most kids, it's grade 13 and 14. If you don't get a Division I offer out of high school, you go there. So a lot of times it's not grade issues or things like that. They're kids that maybe weren't developed coming out of high school, weren't recruited enough, or sometimes maybe they got a D2 offer, NAI offer, and they had dreams for something better. And so that is, you get a little different, I think, perspective of kids that are out there, and we've been able to get some great students. Several of them, obviously, that made academic honor rolls, and so they've been a great asset for us.
And what we found when we recruited out there is that they have a much better idea what they want to do with the rest of their life than the typical high school student does.
Yeah, I think, especially, and the reason we probably recruited, I mean, I'd love to have a whole high school class. It's tough to get, 25 guys that really, because Louisiana's so heavily recruited, to get 25 high school guys that can help us win a championship. We'd love to do that, and I think we're getting better every year and getting more. But those things, those high school kids, those junior college kids, yes, it's less of a gamble. Because you can look, they've done it in the classroom already. They've usually been away from home already, and you're getting to see them play probably against a little better talent already and how they've adjusted to all that.
Ron, you recruit around the country, as we just said, and you coming in from the outside to Southeastern Louisiana, what have you recognized makes this Southeastern Louisiana athlete so appealing to coaches around the country?
There's an enormous amount of them. Now, we have some tremendous players, obviously, in this whole state of Louisiana, but then especially when you get in South Louisiana, New Orleans area, there's just a lot of, there's good football, there's good football coaches, there's a tremendous amount of athletes that are competing against each other, so they get to push each other's buttons to compete, to make themselves better. And, again, so many people probably in the last couple of years, there's a lot of schools that come down here, and I mentioned you at the break, I wish I could shut down the airport. If I could shut down the airport in New Orleans in January, I'd do better in recruiting if I keep all those suckers out of here. It's just, I think everybody's had that tremendous amount of success with these athletes. So everybody's coming here looking for those skill players, because there really is that's the big thing. It's probably got more quantity of skill players than anything.
And when you look at this year's class, Coach, you're going to have 36 new faces.
Yep.
You have 8 in school already, 28 signees, and a really good mix of positions, even though I did take notice, 6 wide receivers and 5 DBs. I guess the ball's going to get spread around a lot.
No doubt, yeah. I mean, that's college football in the back end. You know, defensively, we play primarily with 5 DBs. We play 5 DBs every snap. We may play with 6 or 7 as well, because in the college games it's a spread game, and you got to be able to do that. So you're recruiting those athletes. They'll also be able to help you on special teams as well. And wide receivers, you know, you can't have enough guys that can score with the ball that gets in their hands, and that's what we're looking for always there. There's guys that when they got it, they have a chance to make people miss in space, and they can take the ball to the house on any time.
We got a few guys here I want to take a look at, Coach. A couple of quarterbacks you recruited and signed. A guy I'm familiar with, J.T. Jackson out of Neville, who was a quarterback for that state championship team. Larry Cutbirth, a big quarterback, 6'5", 215, out of Fontana, California. Defensive tackle out of Snow Mountain, Georgia, Solomon Parker, good size, 6 foot 290, kind of a guy who's hard to move. A guy we're familiar with, George Brister, a big-time hitter out of Covington. Will probably play outside linebacker for you. Yep. Junior college outside linebacker, offensive lineman Reggie Harris, 6'3", 310. Lewis Wings, a guy who's been on the show, defensive tackle, big surprise out of West Jefferson. Tyler Boudreau, Mandeville, 6'6", 296. Javon Connor and Roderick Simon, a couple of Landry Walker guys who have been on the show, and Diego Griffin out of Lusher, who's a cousin of Robert Griffin III. Right. So those guys and others, but you've had a good class and addressed a lot of areas. Yeah,
well, we did. I really felt this is our best class that we've signed in my time at Southeastern. Really, the quality of kids we've got, and not just athletically, but academically as well. You know, every year I think we've gotten better. They're better students. They're better character. We signed several kids, obviously, that were part of state championship ball clubs. Mm-hmm. And when that, you can't bring in that type of leader. You got to bring in that type of leadership too. The guys that have been there, done that, and winning is really important to them.
It's important to them, and they know how to work, and they know how to be coachable on top of it as well, because at the FCS level, being coachable at any level really, but especially in the developmental phase at an FCS school is critically important. When we come back after this break, we're going to talk with Coach Roberts about his philosophies and his systems of play at Southeastern Louisiana University and his incredible success in conference play, both at Delta State and now at Southeastern Louisiana. This is Prep Recruiting Insider here at NOLA Motorsports Park in Avondale. We're in the karting center. Great place to spend an afternoon or evening. We'll be right back after this timeout. We are back here at NOLA Motorsports Park in Avondale. This is Prep Recruiting Insider, PRI. I'm the coach of PRI, Rick Gailey, along with the I in PRI, Renee Nato. And we're here with Coach Ron Roberts of Southeastern Louisiana University, the head football coach. Coach, once again, thank you for being with us. And at the FCS, the Football Championship Series, schools, you sometimes have to do a little more than at other places. And you had a very interesting story about Brian Bennett and the Senior Bowl and what you had to do to get his equipment there.
Yeah, well, he got the call on a Tuesday and they actually, his team had practice the next morning. So he was on a red eye to get over there. So the only way I had to basically clean out his locker into a bag because I didn't know which part to take. So he took 2 bags and I cleaned everything that was in his locker out and took it and had to drive it down there that night so it would be there for him at 8:30 the next morning.
Because he was in San Diego when he got the call, I believe,
and
you're in Hammond, and you had to everything had to wind up in Mobile. That's as being a former high school coach and now a football championship series coach, that's all part of the deal.
It is part of the deal. I mean, you got to do what you can, and we're so excited about him getting in the game, and it just is great for our program and for him. We're excited for him, but it helps sell our program as well. And those kids are first, and you can do whatever you got to do to make them succeed.
You're putting more and more kids in those Senior Bowls and those post-game All-Star games, which is pretty good. This is a lot of your program. But getting back to Bennett, Ron, that's going to be a tough spot for you to fill, and you have a number of candidates right now. You're looking at that quarterback spot.
Yes, we've got a couple guys on campus have been here. Deshae Lander out of Lafayette. He's a sophomore, going to be a junior. Played a lot in the last 4 games. Brian got hurt, So and was hurt in the last 4 or 5 ball games of the year. So Deshae got a lot of playing time, which was really great. And I think he's got something special to him. To me, he's a Wilson from Seattle. He's that. He can make people miss. He's got extreme confidence in the pocket. Does just have the knack to move the football, see people, make things happen. So we're excited about him. But and then we redshirted a young man from Texas last year, Kylie Huddleston, who won 2 state championships in 5A at Katy, Texas. And then obviously this year, we got additions and. Cutbirth kid out of California again. He'll be coming in and big pocket passer. Love it. His dad's a high school coach. He was a state champion wrestler in high school. Wow. We love that mentality, the toughness that he brings to the table. And then obviously JT is a guy that won a state championship at Neville. He's intelligent. I love that. Those are things we look for in a quarterback, those intangibles. Very intelligent, be able to pick the thing up real quick. He's only 17, so we think he's got a tremendous amount of progress ahead of him. And he's 17 years old. When he gets in that weight room, he's got a chance to be a 6'4", 230-pound quarterback. And I believe he's got the ability to be a great one.
And I find it very interesting that your background as an assistant coach was as a defensive coach. But yet you believe in a wide open style of football, offensively, defensively, and especially since I coached at Tulane, I was a special teams coordinator there, you're wide open in the kicking game. Multiple formations, motions, fakes. You're more likely to fake it than kick it on occasion. Talk about how you developed that particular philosophy, especially in the kicking game.
It's kind of like, say, in a nutshell, we use a term about don't fear the guardrail. Oddly enough, we're here at the Motor Speedway. And it means, when you get in that race car and you drive it around, you can drive it around 80 miles an hour and you can sure keep it between the lines, that's not a problem, right? But if you're going to win the race, you may bump the guardrail, and you got to play fast enough. You got to do the things that are necessary to win, and I think kids develop understanding those things as we go along, and that's what mentality we want for our kids. Don't fear making a mistake. Don't fear doing that. Play fast, and it's all going to work out.
You can't say enough about how the community in Hammond and the surrounding areas have opened up their arms to you, Ron.
Oh, they've been tremendous. It's one of the things, obviously, I thought, coming and taking the job, I thought that Hammond and the community was starving to win, and really felt coming in that they would rally behind us, and they did. Been unbelievable. The amount of support, and especially it changed by 2 years ago when it just kind of like clicked overnight. They were very open before and stuff like that, but that run 2 years ago for the conference championship was they came out of the woodwork, and it's been nothing but climbing ever since. And
you've had a remarkable record both at Delta State and at Southeastern, not only overall but especially in conference play. You were 29-7 in your conference at Delta State, 19-3 so far at Southeastern. That's a 48-10 incredible conference record as a head coach. Why are you so? Why? I mean, what
I scored more points than they did.
No. Okay, Greg Popovich. Thanks for the obvious.
No,
that's amazing.
Well, yeah, I think we've been fortunate. We've lost some coaches, but I think the big part was we were able to keep, in order time, kept the staff together as much as possible. One of the negative sides of winning is that yes, people are going to come get your coaches, but I can't believe enough that I think that what we've got is a tremendous staff that's great recruiting, and it's about developing that relationship in those hallways with those kids, and it's an environment you create that those kids feel comfortable and want to be there every day, and our coaches have done an amazing job of doing that.
I got my family Southeastern. My nephew Tommy Connors was an All-American there, so my family is Southeastern Lions people. Yeah. You've come so close the last couple of years.
Does Tommy have any eligibility left?
A couple of players.
Why is 2015? Why would it be a special year? Why could it be a special year?
Well, I think if we have the opportunity to win this conference 3 times in a row. It hasn't been done, I think, but one time, I think in the Southland Conference. So we got a tremendous challenge in front of us, but I think right now we probably have a little chip on our shoulder. When we say, yeah, we won the conference last year, but we got a little chip on our shoulder because we didn't, I think there's nobody in our doors, in our room, that was that was satisfied or happy with how it finished. And I'm excited about the kids that we've got and the kids we've developed, and I think we've got a really good chance to have a special year.
Well, thank you for being with us, Coach Roberts. You're starting spring practice on?
February 24th, actually. Yep.
And that's a big time of year. If you get a chance, go up to Hammond and see the Lions. What a great facility that they have. What a great job Coach Roberts does. Right there at Strawberry Stadium. You just got to love it. That's real Louisiana. What a great little university. If you haven't been there, go visit Southeastern Louisiana. What a gorgeous campus. We will be right back after this timeout. Prep Recruiting Inside, a PRI here at NOLA Motorsports Park in Avondale.